Green Book is an historical dramedy based on true events, showing a music road trip through the Deep South between Tony Lip and Dr. Don Shirley.
The film is directed by Peter Farrelly, as in the Farrelly brothers, as in Dumb and Dumber, Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene. That last one was a little over the top. I mean, nobody finds split personalities funny, right?
During the film, I would have never guessed that Peter Farrelly directed it, but looking back now, it kind of makes sense, with the collision of two cultures and the comedy and tenderness that results from it. It reminds you of Farrelly's earlier work, minus the fault jokes.
I was surprised by this movie, in a good way. I mean, I went with expectations of this being a drama snooze fest, but I actually laughed throughout most of it. Sure, there's those sappy parts when the characters are learning their life lessons and all that mumbo jumbo, but most of the movie, I was laughing.
The premise of the film is inherently filled with tension. You have an Italian bouncer with some racial bias getting a job driving a black musician through the Deep South during the era of segregation. I mean, my expectations for conflict was pretty high.
During the road trip, the characters run into a lot of trouble, which showcases its major flaw. It just sugarcoats everything.
Any opportunity for conflict and tension gets brushed over so quickly, they might as well be superheroes that can't be stopped. Dr. Shirley gets attacked in a bar, Tony saves them, they get thrown in jail, and Dr. Shirley calls Bobby Kennedy to get him out. At no point during this movie do you ever feel like that any of them are in any real danger.
This film is very reminiscent of The Help, starring Emma Stone and Viola Davis. You have the themes of racism and cultural divide, but only at a surface level. It doesn't make you feel the same way you do watching films like 12 Years a Slave.
Right off the bat, I gotta say this movie is boring. You got two actors in a car talking. You see this movie poster? That's not a still image. That is the entire movie. Having said that, this movie did have my favorite character, dare I say, of all time. And no, it's not just because his name is Tony and he's from Brooklyn.
I would call this film classical. It's filmed without a lot of cutting to showcase the actors' performances, and there's an overall theme, a really big overall theme it doesn't delve too deep into, which of course makes it good for mass audiences, but doesn't necessarily make it a good historical film.
It's sad because the film does such a great job with almost everything else. The musical performance scenes are great, the dynamic between the characters is amazing, but the racial history, it just feels unreal.
This is a classically done film with great performances that is worth watching, regardless of its minor flaws. 8 out of 10.
There was a lot I enjoyed, but I couldn't help feeling let down from the sugarcoating of the history. 6 out of 10.
This movie had a lot more laughs than I was expecting, which made it a good giggle bit surprise for me. 7 out of 10.
There are so many wasted opportunities to put the characters in serious danger to really make the lessons they learn sink in. 5 out of 10.
Absolutely no action in this entire movie, but I did love the main character of Tony Lip, so I gotta give it points for that. 4 out of 10.
We here at Who's Review give Green Book the overall rating of green means go. It's a strong message with a lot of heart, most of which comes from its amazing lead actors. Its themes of racism and overcoming cultural differences are good ones, and we think everyone should see this movie. But ultimately, the points they're trying to make just seem oversimplified, kind of like a children's book. There you have it, that's our review. What do you think? Are we way off or right on? Let us know in the comments section below, and as always, we'll check it out and respond. If you want to stay up to date on all things Who's Review, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and most importantly of all, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We thank you guys for checking us out here at Who's Review, where everyone's a critic. You see this movie poster? I'm assuming you're putting this over this shoulder. You see this movie poster?